Hello, everyone. Lovely to be here in Athens. My second time in Athens, and I'm going to get lots of sun. I got to fly back tomorrow night, so go back to England. So I'm never going to see the sun again. So might as well top up now, right? Probably like everyone else in this audience, my mum has no idea what I do for a living, like none at all, right? And so I said, "Mum, don't worry. It's cool. I'm a visual person, right? So what I'll do you a diagram." And so I said, "Mum, you see what I do? It's like art and design and technology, and where those three things meet in the middle, it's kind of that's what I do, and that's what people pay me to do for them." And she looked at me and said, "I told my hairdresser you invented Google Maps." I was like, yeah. I mean, that's close enough. Yeah, let's go with that. So I invented Google Maps. Thanks. Hashtag that, you bastards. Right. So 11 years ago, I wrote a book. Now, if you do have mums and they don't know what they don't know what you do for a living, I say, write a book, and then she can get a book. And she understands books, and she can put it on a shelf and go, "My son wrote that." So that's what I did. I wrote this back in 2006. It was called Analog In, Digital Out, and people still reference it now and again, which is nice. The irony is that it's now only available in digital form. So it's kind of, I think that's called a paradox or something. I don't know. But this book talks about my approach to interaction design and digital things, and how I believe that we're not like machines. We're not logical. We have these crazy things called love and hate and jealousy and joy and surprise and passion and delight. None of these things make sense to machines. I don't want to make work for machines. I want to make work for people. And also, I have another confession for you, really. I'm not really into technology. Kind of like it's boring. So I'm interested in people and what I can do with technology. It's just an enabler. So and everyone's talking about future things. It's all very sexy and hot. So I'm going to take you back in time and go, fuck that shit. This is let's go back to 1981. This is how I learned to be a programmer. And my granddad gave me on Boxing Day this computer which changed my life. And what I loved about it then, the difference now is we own machines that turn us into consumers. So you might as well shoot yourself in the head. I want machines that enable us to be creators. This machine was one of those things because it was kind of arrogant. You turned it on and it just sat there. There was no GUI. You couldn't load a program into it. If you probably didn't have one to load, you had to send off and get one in the mail a week later, There was no internet. There was no web. And you turned it on and the cursor just blinked at you and said, "What are you looking at?" So you had to learn how to code to actually use this thing. And then so there was that. And then there was one of the greatest films ever made, War Games. So, I wanted to be Matthew Broderick. And I think back then, you either wanted to be Matthew Broderick in Ferris Bueller, or you wanted to be Matthew Broderick in War Games. And I wanted to be this guy because I didn't really have many friends at school. And people calling round for me when I'm trying to program was really annoying. So I didn't want people. I didn't want loads of mates. So hence I'm here today. So, But before I got into design, I've been a photographer. I had a record contract during the rave scene in Manchester. I made £400, and so I made illegal breakbeat albums for a record company in London. Made no money. And this was the moniker I went under, Vitamin Beat. We can sign autographs later. All those fans have been waiting for this moment. So I made these things, and I think what I do now is actually, I just do the same stuff. I find things that already exist, ready-mades, and I put them together in hopefully interesting ways. And that's what I was doing back then. I was using lots of samples to make music. Here's some experiments. So I code all my work, and I make stupid little things that go in a kind of digital cupboard, and maybe one day I'll use them. So yeah, I'll wrap lines around a sphere or make a thing go like that. I don't know what this shit is. I mean, it's like, who knows, right? So, and hopefully one day I will use this with client work. So it's very much about this, collecting things, importantly curating it. I think we need to curate much more in our culture, and then combining them. I love the work of Bela Kolarova, who, and then again, we're talking a lot about technology, but I think if we look around in the ordinary everyday and apply compositional skill and aesthetic to those ordinary boring things, we can make amazing things. We don't necessarily have to have the latest shiny technology. This is makeup swatches, and I think this is beautiful. But like I said, maybe I need to get out more. This is button fasteners. Look at that. If you don't like that, get out. Right? So, and then what about, go in your shed and check out the slide rules and the nails. This is art, people. This is art. Okay? So, and it's just boring, everyday stuff, and I love all this kind of stuff. And while I do love digital things, I think it's well, I wouldn't have a career without email. I wouldn't have a career without the web. So I'm always thankful for it, but I'm also a fan of analog things and things that are kind of, well, a little bit inconvenient, like vinyl. I love Spotify, and I think the playlist discovery thing is like genius, and it's actually brought more new music to me than when I used to go to record shops. And the two can coexist, but I found more new music because of the amazing algorithm that Spotify have developed, and it's incredible. But you know what? I also like, because I'm a human being, I also like taking a piece of vinyl out of a sleeve, dropping it on the platter, putting the needle down, and then that moment where there are a few seconds before the music starts, to me, is poetry. And I think we kind of lose that. I can't explain why it's poetry, because it's just strange. But that anticipation, I think, is important to us as human beings. So I wanted to, and I also like the fact of, visually looking and physically putting something up, picking something up to trigger music. And for a long time, I've wanted to combine the two, the beauty of Spotify or digital music services, and also the beauty of the vinyl turntable and stuff. So I make a lot of electronic things. And this talk really is more about physical stuff rather than virtual stuff. Got an Arduino and played around with this stuff. NFC is a cool little technology because you can get little stickers. And I made this player, which I use every day. So this one's a personal project, but you'll see how often personal projects that I make go on to get client work. And I made this.
Sunday morning brings the dawn in.
Then look, I'm cool. I am losing my edge. Right, so, and and this got quite a bit of press. The reason I do these things is, it's kind of like my CV. I work on my own. I don't work inside a massive agency. I work from home in a sleepy Victorian town in the north. I'm not even in bloody London. I'm in the northwest of England. So, you've got to make stuff that gets noticed. And this got noticed, for a day, which is a long time on the internet, as we know. Little NFC stickers. You know what drives me mad? So NFC stickers there, I Googled where can I get them, and it was like the first link, right? I've had emails from people going, where'd you get those NFC stickers? And I email back and go, put in Google NFC stickers, you dick. Right, so if you can't even be bothered to find out where you get this shit, then go and get another job, right? So anyway, that's rant over. John Coltrane, genius, right? So it's all about this, putting things into the world that deserve to exist. Try not to put more crap in the world. There's enough crap in the world, and I don't want to add to it. I've just done a job for Bravo, so sometimes I do put shit in the world. But anyway, do this. So again, I make personal projects to try and, as like a trap, really. It's entrapment for clients. So I was kind of pissed off that everyone was shouting at each other on the internet. Let's make it happy again. So I made a happiness machine. So this is a machine that goes out on the internet. When you press a button, it goes out on the internet and it randomly finds anyone talking about feeling happy on blogs or social media, and it gives you a receipt of happiness, which you can take with you. Give it to someone, pin it up, stick it on your head. I don't care. So I made this a few years ago now, and it's been in various exhibitions and galleries. I did a very tiny exhibition in Munich. I love this photo. Never prejudge your audience. All right, when I was making this thing, I thought the people that are going to love it are all the cool, beautiful people like you lot. Right? They're going to, and they're all going to love it. And yet, when I was setting this up in Munich in this tiny gallery, these three lovely elderly ladies were out, and this is in Germany. These things are in English. They were stood there for 10 minutes in the rain reading these receipts, So, and I just love that photo that you can't prejudge your audience. So, of course, all this hasn't earned me any money at all. And it's about time I did earn some money from it. Luckily, an agency working with Airbnb got in touch a couple of years ago, and they said, now, when agencies get in touch, some of them will take the piss, and they'll try and get your work for free. So this is how it went. It kind of went, we love your happiness machine, and we're doing this thing for Airbnb at the Sundance Film Festival. Could we put your happiness machine in a corner, and people could, yep, totally could do that. You could do that. But why don't we go one step further and take it to the next level? So then I put a document together that gave an idea to them, and it was all about neighborhood, this thing they were doing at Sundance Film Festival. And we agreed to make 12 printers that people could SMS into, and they could share stories about their neighborhood from anywhere in the world. Or you had to be in the building to see the text message number. It wasn't shared outside this room. But you could tell stories about people you've met and all kinds of stuff. So then it's, how many people are like this? I've got this amazing idea, and it's like this perfect circle, and it's beautiful. And then you go, oh shit, that's what I've made. What happened? And it's like, there's a gap in the middle, right? And that's why we learn things every day and try and improve ourselves. That's why we're here at this conference, hopefully. We're trying to improve ourselves, so we lessen that gap. That gap will always exist. Perfection is like a cruel joke, right? It's a goal you want to reach for, but you're always going to see flaws in your work. And if you don't, that's just arrogance, I think. So I often say, I hate everything I make. So sounds like, okay, how do I do the industrial design on the case? This is a software called Fusion 360. You can download it for free if you're a startup for a year. Amazing YouTube videos. So I do a lot of watching of YouTube videos and teach myself stuff like this. And then do the electronics. And this is Electric Imp that connects to Wi-Fi. It's really, really nice. This is on my dining room table. And my wife is going, what are you doing? We need to eat. Whatever. And yeah, I did an SMS backend. I'd never done SMS before, and a backend, just learned how to do that with Trilio. Very super easy. I think it was like a JSON backend thing. I don't know. So I did that, very simple. And then I went to Sundance to install it. And it's typical moaning British Northerner. I get to Sundance, and they're there, and I've always wanted to go to Sundance, and I thought it was like, Hollywood films. Well, it's actually near Salt Lake City. It's in January. It's bloody freezing. And there's snow. I hate the snow, and there's snow everywhere. It's a ski resort. And so I turn up at this place, and all the Americans are there from the agency, being typically amazing, And they say, hey, Brendan, how are you liking Sundance? I just went, it's pissing freezing. So like, I mean, it's great. Yeah, it's great. So did this thing, and this is Christian from Airbnb. Obviously, when it started, there was like 2 receipts, and this is at the end of the week, and we had a forest of several thousand stories that have been shared through this system, and it all works perfectly, which is always nice. And there's a sea of stories. But I guess the takeout from this is this all started because I did a personal project that I put out into the world. I wasn't afraid to just go, you know what, it isn't absolutely perfect, but here it is. And then it went something else. So I really encourage anyone to put your work out there. That's what's brilliant about the web. And what's amazing is the stories were incredible. They weren't, I thought they were just going to be like, had a really nice coffee down the road. It was, some of this stuff was like pages long on a text message. It takes me like a minute to put yes, so I don't know how people write this stuff on phones, but they did. And so again, people will always amaze you, I think. Again, don't pre-estimate what people are going to do, because they also went live straight away. I built a whole back end that had an admin system, and originally we said, you have to approve the messages, and Airbnb the night before said, just let them go live, it's cool. And I'm like, mate, I'm from Manchester, and you're going to get a lot of swearing. And I think we got 1 out of several thousand messages. So I don't know if they're more medicated over there or what. But this guy, look, this is what it's about for me. Happy person, saying happy things on social media, which is nice. I do quite a lot of, staying with a physical theme. And the idea of feeling things. I do quite a lot of data visualization, and I do print stuff and web stuff and digital app things and 8K video wraparound stuff. But I also like the idea of what if you could create data that you could bump into and trip over. And so many years ago I did this. This is my Twitter activity over several years. On the left is 2007, when I first started on Twitter. I didn't really know what it was, as you can see. The middle one is 2 years later, and then that one's like 2012. As you can see, talking rubbish all the time on Twitter, and you can actually feel the difference in the data. So you could see that I was actually much more active on Twitter because of how spiky it was, and you could feel that in your hands, and that led to a client project as well. Recently, I've just done this. So David Hunter at Ravensbourne College in London, he contacted me and said, we've been collecting environmental data for a year around Greenwich, and we're doing a book, and we're asked our artists that we admire we're giving them the data and see what they can make. And I said, oh, that sounds cool. What about if you give me the environmental data, I then 3D print it in wood, and then put it back in the environment from whence it came. Whence? I've never used that word before. Shakespeare. So I did this. So these are 3D printed in wood, made to look kind of organic. You know, like, I don't know if you know what conkers are, horse chestnut things. So this is data, and this is environmental data. This is sound data that they collected with a microphone over from the Greenwich campus. There's different ones. Some are more spiky, and created a piece of software that would do that for me. And they look, to me, they do look like wood. And I like the idea of having put them back. People are wandering around collecting horse chestnuts, and they go, look at this one, it's really weird. It's like, it's not really real. But think about it in the future, where we're going to have objects that will be able to transform in your hand, because we're going to have computers where we can just pour concrete, and computers will be in every grain of that concrete, for instance. We know that's going to happen. So you can then say, we're going to have self-forming things. And that's for me, it's like, how bad is the pollution today? Well, look, there's all these things on the ground that are all spiky and horrible, and, better put, my face mask on or something. I don't know. But it's sort of alluding to that idea, really. I like that one. I like the fact, I don't know why it's got this, it's really like a mistake. It's got this wooden darker bit around the top. I'm not sure why that is, but. And then the final thing I wanted to show you was this thing for Twitter, which is kind of a sort of joins on from that bit I've just shown you. And this is important. I often, you get people who come up to you when they've seen the work that you've made, and they see the end result. And they said, how do you make that? And well, of course, it's this. Everything starts out ugly, like babies. It's true. So, you ever seen a baby just pop out? It's horrific. And this is my process chart. Enjoy. It's basically, I have no idea what I'm doing. And then you're trying to get to the dreaded circle. And that's pretty much it. And that's what I charge clients lots of money for. So, this was a job for Twitter. They got in touch with me. They were doing a one-night thing in Paris at this really cool venue that had all these screens built into the wall. And they said, we want you to create something. We're inviting all the creative agencies across France to this night, and we're going to show them the creative possibilities of Twitter. And we want you to make something where, they tweet in and something happens. And I looked at the venue. I said, well, those screens, imagine they're like windows, and maybe we're looking out through those windows into another world, and maybe there's creatures swimming around. I said, not fish, because that would be rubbish, but something a bit more interesting and kind of digital, but analogy. When you're first starting out, you've got to create something to criticize. And so, as I said, everything starts out ugly. So I had this idea of things swimming round, flocking motion, that kind of, pretty standard. And so I would do lots of these videos that are just things to talk about and start a discussion rather than talking in the abstract. So, things would swim round and imagine these were tweets I was saying. And they were like, we like where you're going with this. This is cool. Let's develop it. And then I don't know why, but I started to make weird shapes that look like kitchen colanders or sieves. I don't know what this shit is. These are made from sine waves, these algorithms. But you know what? I was looking at it, and they were swimming around in an invisible box. And I think that I always say data by itself is not enough. Data needs poetry. And I was looking at this thing and thinking, God, it's quite boring. The way they're moving is like, get to the end, turn around. And so I thought back at the beginning of the talk, I showed like those little experiments, and I make a lot of those. And I remembered that I'd figured out how to draw lines around a sphere. And I thought, well, if I can draw lines around a sphere, maybe I could map those boxes or those weird machines as they are in this iteration. Maybe I could map them around an invisible sphere, and maybe it would be more poetic. So that's what I did. And now things looked a bit more. They still look weird, and we didn't go with this aesthetic, as you'll see in a second. But now they seem to be much more poetic. This is one of the early iterations, rather than swimming in a horrible box. And this is what I did on the night. Still coding it on the night as well. So each one of these is unique to the person that when they tweet in, it takes their Twitter user number and it uses that as a kind of starting DNA, uses that to inform the body shape. But then I did other things. So if you were following more people than were following you, we said you're a voyeur, and we gave you big eyes. If you were like on Twitter all the time and quite prolific, you were multicolored, because you were like the one everyone wants to hang out with, sort of thing. And so all this kind of stuff, had thousands of them. But of course, I was generating 3D meshes in real time in response to these tweets. And of course, 3D meshes, well, you can then turn them into physical analog QT creatures, full color 3D printed. And so I sent these to the client as well, and they ended up in an exhibition in Paris a year later, actually. Again, so these are side effects of a project. So you go the extra mile, and things can come off that, and things that can delight you. So I always say, do that. Those extra things are worth putting the time into. And so, obviously this one is fabulous. This was like the hero, really, of the piece. There's a voyeur person, or example of. You can see that they've got really big eyes because they're just watching lots and lots and lots of people. And then, so I thought, I've made this algorithm, right? And I've been on Twitter since, as you saw, since 2007. I thought, I'll put me in. Because I think I'm fairly interesting, right? So I thought, I want to be like, Mr. Cool there. Mr. or Mrs. I don't know what the gender is. I'm not sure. I've not found a way to sex them yet. But so I thought I'll put me in. This is what I got. Shit. It's like, hello. It's like, I'm really boring. I was like, oh. Well, obviously, there is something wrong with the algorithm. I think we can all agree. I'm going to leave you with this. When you make your work, it should remind you of something you have never seen before. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Brendan. Thank you very much. Fantastic. Thank you. Do you have a couple of minutes for questions?
I'm not going anywhere, so.
Okay. Make yourself at home. Okay, great. I noticed a few kind of similarities to a guy called Aaron Meek who was here last year, and he was saying that he's always shit scared at the beginning of a project.
Yeah.
And I just wonder if that's a similar thing that maybe happens to you as well. Kind of just don't think too much and just get on with it.
Yeah, I think what was said before. You always say you can do it.
Yeah.
I know. I think I read that when they were making Jurassic Park, Industrial Light and Magic had no idea how they're going to make dinosaurs.
Yeah.
They just said to George Lucas that they can do it. So it's the same thing. You just say you can do it, figure it out. There's always a way to make something. So as long as you've got a good client who understands, then.
And that's the next question we've got from you from Kiros is how do you do 3D printing on wood?
3D printing with wood. You can buy a PLA material that is so much percentage wood. So it isn't just pure wood. It's like plastic with a percentage of wood, and it turns out like that. And then you can varnish it and treat it like wood afterwards. So you can just buy that in the shops, yeah.
Okay, so it's a material you feed into a 3D
material,
printer.
Yeah.
And then it ages quite beautifully like wood from what I can see.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Okay, that's all we have for you.
Good. Well, that's good because I'm out of here. So I'm bored already. Okay, thank you very much.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Party. Thank you very much. Brendan Dawes, everyone. Thank you.